Gloria Vargas and Emilio Garcia. There will be instructions in the chat on how to pin their video throughout the meeting, and CART closed captioning services are also provided. A link to that URL will also be in the chat.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Civilian Complaint Review Board's June board meeting. My name is Arva Rice. I use the pronouns she and her, and I am the interim chair of the board. I would like to call the CCRB June public board meeting to order. I would like to begin today's discussion by remembering the victims of Buffalo as well as Uvalde and the other horrific mass shootings that continue to terrorize Americans. Just this past weekend, 15 people were killed and over 60 injured in mass shootings across the country. This is a national crisis that requires action from our lawmakers, and while I'm pleased that New York took swift action to increase regulation, there is more that needs to be done. The board and I are keeping the victims' families in our thoughts and in our prayers. I am now pleased to welcome someone who has spent years working to get gun off the streets, our newest board member, A.U. Hogan. A.U. has dedicated his career to the betterment of this community in Queens through public service, community engagement, and nonprofit work. A.U., would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I'm glad to be here. The work continues, and the work is still with shooting the mass shooting and legislation has to do more. I think what we've been doing the last 20 years, really looking at the effects of violence as opposed to looking at the root causes of it. And once we start approaching that from that angle, we might see some light and have a safer environment, a safer community for young people, and in a vast community. I'm just glad to be here.
So much, welcome. Welcome to the board of CCRB. We'd like to have the rest of the board members introduce themselves. I guess we'll start on this end. If we can start with Herman.
My name is Herman Barrett, Senator from Brooklyn.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sal Carcaterra. He's Commissioner Designate.
Oh, okay. A.U. Hogan, designated from City Council from Southeast Queens.
John March, Executive Director.
Name is Joseph Puma. I'm the City Council representative on the board from Manhattan, and I go by he, his pronouns.
Good afternoon, John Siegel with he, him. I'm a mayoral appointee to the CCRB.
And Michael?
Afternoon, everyone. Michael Rodenera, pronouns he, him. I am a city council designee, hailing from the Bronx, and welcome to our newest colleague on the board.
Also been joined by Erica. June is a very important month throughout New York City as we celebrate Pride Month. The outreach team joined the Queens Pride Parade this past weekend and will march in the Brooklyn Pride Parade this coming Saturday and will be tabling at the Bronx Pride Festival next weekend. They will continue to identify Pride events in all 5 boroughs to set up informational tables and participate in celebrating New York City's LGBTQIA+ community. The agency has also been making changes internally to ensure we are supporting all LGBTQIA+ employees. All CCRB employees have been asked to include in their pronouns in email signatures and meeting IDs, and all senior staff will be trained by CCHR on how to create a safe work environment for all. I would also like to thank the members of the CCRB's LGBTQIA+ affinity group, EEO officers and staff for all their help in updating the agency's policies and making a better work environment for all. We will now hear from Executive Director John Darsh.
Thank you, Chair Rice. I'm going to spend the bulk of my comments responding to questions from last month. Last month, we were asked if we could share the monthly report earlier, and we're now publishing it 2 days before the board meeting each month on our website, rather than the 24 hours as required by the open meetings law. And we are also going to be including the names of members of service with substantiated complaints moving forward. There were also questions about the length of public comment. The open meetings law recommends limiting statements to 3 to 5 minutes, depending on the number of people attending the meeting. Our meetings are governed by the open meetings law, so we followed their guidelines with the 4-minute rule. Board member Siegel had asked about deviations by the board from the matrix in protest cases, and the board did not deviate from the matrix in any of the protest cases. And then one of the members of the public asked about complaints coming from precincts. So far this year, we've had 14 complaints come in from precincts, as opposed to either in person or phone calls or online. And that is down from 2018 when we had 95. The outreach unit has been proactive about this, going to commands around the city to make sure that not only that they have our contact information prominently displayed, but they have been handing out self-addressed envelopes to the commands in case a person wants to make a complaint but doesn't want to have that complaint forwarded by the department. Also, the department has those complaint forms, so if a civilian fills it out and gives it to the front desk, they will forward it to us through the department system. So we've been getting complaints from the precincts, and we are continuing to work with the department to make sure that our information is prominently displayed inside the precincts. Just a quick update on upcoming operations. We expect to have our protest report out in the coming months. Our office is open for walk-in complainants, but it's also possible to file complaints online at nyc.gov/CCRB-COMPLANT or nyc.gov/CCRB complaint. And you can call us to file a complaint on the telephone by dialing 311 or by dialing us directly at 800-341-2272. Again, during the public session, we're going to be limiting comment to 4 minutes per person. And I want to thank the staff for all their hard work. And thanks again to members of the public for participating in the meeting today.
Do we have a quorum?
No.
Okay, all right.
Hopefully.
Just
Yes.
checking to make sure we have a quorum.
Yes.
Can I ask for a motion to move the minutes as presented? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Are there any changes? I don't think so. Did anyone have any changes in the minutes? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Thank you. Before I move to the Director of Outreach's presentation, I did want to ask, were there any... Okay, sorry. Did anyone have any questions from Jonathan from his update?
Hey, John, just one quick question. When you did the comparison of 14 complaints this year to date, you compared it to 2018. Why 18? What about 19, 20?
Because it was just a steady decline, so I didn't want to go into each year. But I don't, based on what we've been doing, we don't see any problem with it because we're still getting the complaints. And when we go to the precincts, our information is properly displayed.
Any other questions based on Jonathan's response to some of the questions that he was referring to in the last meeting? All right. So we will have our presentation from our Director of Outreach, Mr. Jahai Rose. Jahai?
Thank you very much, Chair Rice. Hello, everyone. My name is Jahai Rose. I go by he, him pronouns. Just bear with me for one moment while I share my screen. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
As you all may know, the Civilian Complaint Review Board is the nation's largest independent oversight entity over the largest police force in the country. The CCRB investigates, mediates, and prosecutes complaints of misconduct alleged against members of the NYPD. The agency is governed by a 15-member board with 5 seats appointed by the mayor, 5 appointed by the New York City Council, 3 designated by the police commissioner, and 1 appointed by the public advocate. The chair is jointly appointed by the City Council and the mayor. Many of you have met many of our board members on this call today. The CCRB can investigate 4 different types of allegations alleged against New York City police officers. That's a helpful reminder for this is FATO. FATO stands for force, use of authority, discourtesy, and language. Just some information regarding the Right to Know Act. The Right to Know Act went into effect in October of 2018. This mainly impacts stop and frisk encounters, sobriety checkpoints, and other encounters with police officers. It includes, in certain circumstances, officers identifying themselves by providing their name and other identifying information, such as their rank, command, and shield number, with some exceptions, explaining the purpose of an interaction, informing individual of their right to say no when asking for their consent to search an individual's person, property, vehicle, or home, and providing a business card under certain circumstances, providing a business card with an officer's information that explains how to make a comment and or complaint about an encounter with a police officer. Civilians can request this information in all encounters. This is a copy of what the business card looks like. There are various ways, as mentioned by the Executive Director, John Darsh, to file a complaint with the CCRB. One of the easiest ways is by going to our website, nyc.gov/CCRB complaint, or calling our hotline at 1-800-341-2272 or 1-800-341-CCRB. Remember, if you see footage of misconduct on social media or in the news, you can file a complaint even if you were not there in person. Feel free to tag the CCRB at CCRB_NYC. Additional ways to file complaints about police misconduct include calling 311, visiting our office at 100 Church Street on the 10th floor in Lower Manhattan. You could also go to our social media platforms at Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram and direct message the CCRB. You could also send a letter to the CCRB to the same address, 100 Church Street on the 10th floor, New York, New York, zip code 10007. You can file a complaint at a local police precinct. It does not have to be the precinct. It doesn't have to be in the confines of the precinct where the incident may have taken place. Officers are required to accept CCRB complaints at any precinct, or they could provide you with a complaint form and a postage-free envelope. CCRB is hiring. CCRB has various positions in our office for level 1 investigators, outreach, APU, and our racial profiling and bias-based policing unit. For more information regarding how to apply for these positions, feel free to send an email to careers@ccrb.nyc.gov. You could also look up all open positions on nyc.gov/jobs and just search for CCRB. A link will be placed in the chat with a direct link to CCRB open positions. If you would like a CCRB outreach presentation for your friends, family, neighbors, anyone in your community, feel free to reach out to the outreach unit at outreach@ccrb.nyc.gov. You could also follow the CCRB on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Typical hashtag is at CCRB_NYC. Thank you very much, Chairs.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions of Jahai? Any questions? All right, seeing none, we will now enter the public comment portion of the meeting. If you are interested in making a public comment, please line up behind the podium if you are joining us in person, or use the raise your hand feature if you are joining us virtually, and we will go in order. As you heard from our executive director, we will please keep your comments to 4 minutes. Yahira, would you please call on the first person?
Thank you, Chair. While we wait for the public to walk into the room to make any public comments, we want to thank the Fort Lauderdale Police Review Board and the Seattle Community Police Commissioning for attending today's meeting, as well as representatives from Senator Jabari Brisport's office and the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice. For those of you in the room that would like to speak, please line up behind the podium, as the chair mentioned, and introduce yourselves before speaking. As a reminder, you have 4 minutes to make a comment.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Please begin.
So I have a little written things I have to saying. I'm sorry, my English is not so good. I'm trying to speak. My name is Muhammad Hassan Habib. I'm the president of Chittagong Association of North America Inc. in Brooklyn, under the 66th precinct. So the Brooklyn 66th precinct seems like it has been controlled and running for a long period of time. One Mr. Qazi Shakawat Hasan Azam. He instigated numerous civil and criminal actions by using NYPD PO for his advantage. Here are some incidents occurred made by Qazi using 66 police precinct. Number 1, Mr. Qazi claims his position as a treasurer of the 66 precinct community council and that he can do whatever he wants to, such as arresting and releasing people. Mr. Qazi claims his position as a president of the Bangladesh American Friendship Society of New York, which is not registered organization and no federal tax ID, and holding the annual street fair by using the name 66 precinct without permit from the SHAPO, Street Activity Permission Office, NYC, and collecting donation from all walk of lives and share profit to the 66 precinct, he claimed. Not only does he share the profit, but he also gives the civilian crest to the NYPD police officers for their excellent performance. Here is another upcoming street fair scheduled for June 12, 2022. Copy of the flyer attached. There was a meeting scheduled on March 27, 2021 for celebration of Independence Day of Bangladesh by the Executive Committee of the Chittagong Association. On that day, Qazi called police to cancel the meeting without emergency by using police power for his benefit, and more than 20 to 30 police officers were present without any incident, fightings, or any kind of criminal actions or possible criminal actions whatsoever. Please see the record. Okay. Qazi made a false arrest and report abuse of authority and process and misconduct, the harassment by the convinced police officer. Fortunately, the criminal case was dismissed. Docket number 2017 KN 046358. But we had to pay a high attorney fees to get rid of this case. Please see the attached below. Kazi pursues the 66% police precinct made this false case by using his influence. Mr. Kazi uses the NYPD police officer for his advantage by being overly nice to them. One case in which he took them out to dinner for the purpose of getting a permit for the annual street fair whenever the association wants to hold one, Chittagong Association of North America, in a non-profit organization. This kind of adverse behavior continuously occurred for a long time. Not only did he make Mr. Akbar Ali, ex-president of Chittagong Association, spend $1,700 in order to appeal to the officers at the restaurant on just before the street fair of 2015. But he had also tried to appeal several times to the NYPD police officer. He was the president of the association 2013-2014. In the same way, back to the 2013 and 2014, he had a gun-to connection with Detective Michael, who was suspended from the NYPD due to the similar kind of corruption. He always keeps saying the innocent people to our community. Yes.
I think you have to, your time expired, but what I'm going to ask you to do is, I don't know that this matter is precisely in our jurisdiction, but if you wait, we're going to have someone speak to you. We'll take all your information and we will forward it to the right people. Thank you, sir.
The proof
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you.
And before we have the next speaker, I wanted to have another member of our board has joined us, Reverend Carolina.
Demetrius Carolina, mayoral appointee, Staten Island.
Yahira, we have the person. Hi, how are you?
My name's Terrell Harper. Community activist. I do mutual aids and everything. I've been out here since the uprising. You know what I mean? I throw my own marches and everything now, and that's what my marches are based off of, going after crooked cops. Mm-hmm. When I go after these cops, they bring a whole bunch of other cops out there. We get to run in their badges. All of them got rap sheets like this. Mm-hmm. All of them get substantiated by y'all. I started my marches marching for people that were killed by cops. Andre Hill got killed before Christmas at his sister's house by a cop coming out of his sister's garage because somebody called the cops 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm marching for him in Brooklyn. I'm marching to him for Brooklyn. This cop named Artem Pusayev, standing on the side of the street, wanted to show off and flex for us. You know what a flex is? It's showing off. Just pulled his gun out on us to show off. We asked him where his mask at. He pulled his gun out. It was all over the news. It's been in the news about 5-6 times all year. I based my marches off of him. Big marches. 100 to 150 people. We marching out to the station. We went to his house. He moved. We trying to find some way to hold him accountable. It showed he's unstable. And I can see if somebody bucks him down to a desk job or something like that, he's showing he's going to shoot somebody. If him pulling the gun out on us, for asking him to put a mask on that y'all are mandated to wear. And then after we stopped marching on him, they put his ass back on the streets. They hit him. That was in Brooklyn. They moved to Manhattan. We got it over there, started messing with them in Manhattan. They ain't like that. The money over there. They had to close down the restaurants because we was coming over there. We wasn't rowdy or nothing, just coming to the police station. And the police station, they just stop us from getting to the police station. They put all the cops there. This is 6th precinct, this is 10th precinct. And through these marches, we get violated by other cops. White shirts. My first time getting locked up out here, Joseph Cuervo. He said I had a knife on me. I didn't have a knife. We got videos and everything. The other person had the knife. He didn't want to see it. They just wanted to stop me and wanted to lock me up. So that's when I started my marches based off of him. I ran his rap sheet, ran his badge. Seen he had dirty, seen, but he's a white shirt now. When he locked me up, he wasn't a white shirt. So he got his shirt. I don't know if it was because of my arrest or somewhere in between it. But before he locked me up, him and 12 other officers at the 6th precinct beat a guy named Michael Watson, fractured his eye. Beat him up because they found a sex toy on him. Washington Square Park. There's a lot of gay people that's over there, right? You know, it's like a gay community. They ran to the 6th precinct. They got a badge. They got the little coins. I study these cats. They got a coin that's there, you know, for a little gay badge that's just on them like they supposed to be for the unity. But they beat this man up because he had a dildo on him. He went to the hospital. They brought him back to the station. They wanted to run his fingerprints. He got smart with them. They beat him up again. He had to go to the hospital. Either way, he went to the hospital 3 times before he got processed and let go. He won a lawsuit against them. Won a lawsuit against them. That's a felony, bro. That's a hate crime. That's a felony. Guess what? He's a white shirt. That happened years ago. He's a white shirt now. We look it up. Who do we go to? What can we do? CCRB. CCRB, what y'all doing? Substantiated. What y'all do, though? Artem, he substantiated. They knew he was wrong. It was on the news. We chased him from town to town. Boom, 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 boom. Now it's a year later. Everybody's getting their lawsuit money because obviously he was wrong. That whole year we was chasing him down, going from station to station. He was at his desk job. There wasn't no CCRB. Rally coming up to the station. I'm holding them accountable because y'all can't do it. We don't have nobody to do it. It's a cop out here, a white shirt. A white shirt that Thomas Connolly work at Union Square, that he's over top of our protests. Got a couple of us locked up. I look his name up. And every time they violate us, I look their name up. But he's a white shirt. He's in charge of other people. Thomas Ferguson, Fernando. His name is Sergeant Fernando. I forgot his last name, but Sergeant Fernando. He's in the paper. He's in the Washington Post for telling on Thomas Connolly. Because Thomas Connolly sexual harassed him. This is a cop telling on another cop. Thomas Connolly's still out here. Where's Sergeant Fernandez? Oh, he gone. They moved him somewhere. Get away from this white man. You feel me? Y'all have no power up here. I'm wondering, what in the hell are y'all doing up here? What are y'all doing up here? Somebody got to die for y'all to do anything, for y'all to have anything. Y'all have no power, bro. I'm putting the pressure on y'all to put the pressure on these motherfuckers. I hate to say it like that, but I'm tired. I'm tired. But I ain't gonna stop. I just marched here last week. I don't know if y'all heard me outside, but I was going crazy. I stopped traffic out there. Did they tell y'all? Probably didn't. I don't care. And you know what? Every time I throw a march, there's always 100 and something cops out there just waiting for me to show up. They ain't show up today. They probably want me to put the pressure on y'all. But ain't nothing y'all can do. I came up here to tell y'all to be better. I don't want to have to put the pressure on y'all. I don't want to have to stand in front of this building and put the pressure on y'all because I go to them. They say it's y'all. You feel me? I don't go to the station. There's nothing I can do at that station. It all comes back to y'all. That's what they hire y'all for. Y'all civilians. I know some of y'all send them. Look at you. Look at you. Look at you. Why are you looking at me like that? You part of the problem, bro. But that's what I'm saying. It's all a thing that, bro, this is just some bullshit. I don't know, bro. If y'all really are something, be better, do something. Put the pressure on the commissioner to start putting these cops away. There's no reason why that cop it's plenty of people that want to be cops, right? I just went to the John Jay graduation. Plenty of them people. Try them out. Try them out. Start getting rid of some of these corrupted cops so y'all won't have this bad name, right? Do something. Makes people say CCRB did that. The reason I came here, the reason that made me come to the CCRB, the reason I came here last week is because we just got the paperwork that y'all substantiated Artem, bro. The dude I based my march is one that pulled a gun on us for asking him to put a mask on, bro. But y'all, I guess we gotta wait for him to kill us, right? Shout out to y'all, man. Do better, bro. Do better. That's what I came here for, man. That's what I came here for. That's what I came here for. And I'm going to continue to march on these cops And I hope that when y'all see me marching on these cops that I'm marching on, they have felonies. If I did this shit that they did, felonies. I'm under the jail. I'm getting locked up.
Thank you, sir, for your comments.
Yeah.
And thank you for encouraging us. You're right. We have to do better. And I appreciate your comments this afternoon. Is there anyone else?
Wants to make a comment.
Did you want to make a comment?
I just wanted to, I'm learning,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll talk later.
Okay. Yes, sir. Oh, before you speak, you want to just take a moment. We have been joined by another board member.
My apologies for lateness. Family obligation graduation art show today, which started very late. My name is Esmeralda Simmons. I'm a public advocate appointee from Brooklyn.
Esmeralda. Hello, sir. Thank you.
Hello there. How are you? First name is Andrew. Last name is Wilson. So let me start by saying I have no problems with law enforcement. I do not hate law enforcement. No problems at all. However, law enforcement like to attack and terrorize people. Law enforcement has been attacking me for years. I was first assaulted by law enforcement in Chicago. I filed a complaint with the CCRB in Chicago. They did nothing. That was October 2015. I was assaulted in New York, September 8th. September 4th, 2018. I was assaulted. I was beaten up. And they caused bodily injuries. They tossed me in the hospital. They tossed me in the sidewalk. I came out the sidewalk to get the video of law enforcement assaulting me. The video was vanished. It was gone, just like Laquan Mandano in Chicago. Law enforcement had murdered him, and they had erased the video. They did the same thing at Burger King. Law enforcement did the same thing to me. They had erased the evidence. But they was captured on another recording device, which I filed a complaint with the CCRB, and the CCRB refused to check out the other recording device. They refused to do that. So I have a court case. It's called Socialist Workers Party versus the Attorney General. This shows law enforcement make people homeless and get people fired from their jobs. Law enforcement make people homeless and get people fired from their jobs. You might know Colin Kaepernick. He's a football player protesting police brutality. Fired. So that's the court case. I have other people who has been fired by law enforcement. That's also in the news. Steve Talley, Sean Worsley, just like many other people that's been fired after they had encounters with law enforcement. Law enforcement like to terrorize people, and they're terrorizing me. Law enforcement had also made me homeless as well, like Steve Talley. Steve Talley was made homeless. I am homeless right now because of law enforcement that like to attack and terrorize me. And March 5th, 2022, I called law enforcement. I told them that I was being followed around. People keep sabotaging my car in different areas. Again, they tossed me in the sidewalk. I filed a complaint with the CCRB, and they did nothing as well. So it seemed like the CCRB, you filed a complaint, and they keep refusing to take action. Now, last time, September 4, 2008, nothing happened. They did nothing to law enforcement. Nothing about the video. Nothing about me being assaulted and tossed in the hospital with bodily injuries. They refused to check out the other recording device. So it seems to me that the CCRB might be assisting law enforcement in covering up their corruption. That's what it seems to me, because if a person files a complaint and nothing happens, it seems like that's what the CCRB is doing. So, since nobody's assisting me, I made videos. Police ambushed me. Cops, C-O-P-S, cops. Cops is an acronym. COPS is an acronym. COPS, corruption of the policing system. They like to attack and terrorize me. They like to follow me around. They're going to do horrible things, so I'm going to make videos about them. This is a video of me talking to the owner after I was assaulted September 4th. how he refused to release the video to me so I could bring it to the CCRB and bring it to the news that I was brutally assaulted. And law enforcement is still attacking me today. So my YouTube channel is called Corrupt Cops Attacking Me. Corrupt Cops Attacking Me, that's my YouTube channel. Please ambush me. You can look up other videos there. Police, terrorism, and something else I can't remember now, but there's other videos up about how police like to attack not only me, but other people as well. I have a list of a flyer that shows that law enforcement make people homeless and get people fired from their jobs. I have a flyer that shows that different people, different states. Sure.
Comments for a grave concern. He made the assessment that the CCRB was a collaborator in covering up police corruption, which is exactly the opposite of our mission and our work here. So I wanted to have John, if you wanted to respond in kind, and AU, I don't know if you had a comment as well.
Just to ask this last question. How does law enforcement know that they could terrorize people, plant drugs on people, erase evidence, state after state after state? Do you think that law enforcement woke up at the same time all over America and said, oh, we could plant drugs on people? You know, so this is an organization of corruption. It's an organization. This is what these corrupt people are doing in law enforcement. And there's certain people, not only in America, but in the world, that people cannot push. Law enforcement cannot push. The people who are not afraid of law enforcement, people who are not afraid of jail, and people who are not afraid of death. So the certain people that law enforcement can never push at all. Just can't push them, no matter what they do. And what they do, for people like me, they toss me in the sidewalk so that, according to the newspaper, you can't testify against them. Several people have been thrown in the sidewalk. Adrian Schoolcraft, Nellie Gomez in New York, not mentioning Christopher Dorner in California. When he had exposed corruption and terrorism, they murdered him because they didn't want him to testify in court. So Nellie Gomez and Adrian Schoolcraft tossed in the sidewalk because every time people expose corruption and terrorism in law enforcement, they're crazy.
On to your comment. Thank you.
Sure.
So, Mr. Wilson, did you say the incident happened in 2018 or 2008?
2015 in Chicago, law enforcement had assaulted me. I filed a complaint with the CCRB. 2018.
18.
Right.
So what I'm going to ask you to do is we have an investigator and someone from our civilian assistance unit who are outside. I'm going to ask Roger to take you to them, and then they'll sit down and talk with you, because I just want to find out the details and see what we can do to help.
Sure. Both states after.
So we can't do.
No.
We have jurisdiction over New York City.
I understand that, but I'm showing a pattern. This is a pattern of corrupt people in law enforcement attacking people. In both states, Chicago and New York, after law enforcement had assaulted me, they refused to issue a police report in both states. This is a pattern of corrupt people in law enforcement. Again, law enforcement can't push everybody. They can push some people, but they can't push everybody. And that's why 2 people are murdered in 2 different countries. Martin Luther King Jr. and Jesus Christ. People who could not be pushed are easily influenced by others. People who are nonviolent. And these are the people who are murdered because they are afraid. They're scared. Because they can't handle people that have intelligence. That's why they're murdered.
Comment. AU, did you want to make a comment as well? Or greeted by somebody who can talk about the case.
Okay, so
you can connect them to Yvonne and an investigator.
We'll do right now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Hi, y'all. My name is Justin Pines. I'm a community activist. I'm from New Jersey, but I'm here a lot. I guess, did my time start yet? Oh, no. Okay. Whenever you're ready, I guess. I was actually talking to one of your people outside, and I discovered, like, most of you guys are just civilians, right? You're just regular, quote-unquote, citizens. Minus the, like, I actually do find it commendable that you guys try to do this. I was going to be a lot more aggressive until I realized most of y'all are citizens, except the 3 people who do law enforcement. 3 people who do law enforcement, I'm coming for y'all. But, like, I feel like, why aren't you guys more in your community? Like, why doesn't the community know more about you? Like, I'm here because the guy who was dressed in green told me about it. You know, I feel like I understand the goal is to hold cops accountable, but it's almost like if we have to do all this, why are they here? Like, why are they here in the first place? For example, in the Bronx, Mikey Rosado was shot with his hands up, and his father shot back at two unarmed, I forget the word. They weren't wearing their uniforms, and they just started shooting at them. And he's in Rikers right now. He's in Rikers right now, and I don't think they ever publicly released the footage. Like, they're not trying to do anything. They just aren't trying to hold themselves accountable at all. That happened last summer, but I'm here with y'all. Luis Monsantos is a 17-year-old kid who got shot in the head by the NYPD, and Eric Adams called him a terrorist. There's a reason people don't trust y'all. And I can respect, I guess, the attempt to hold cops accountable, but how many people in your community know these resources? How many people in your community are aware that you guys even exist? Like, I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but it's also like, I'm a protester. Like, I'm from Jersey. I've organized protests in Jersey. I've been out here since 2021 because I was under the impression we were trying to stop a pandemic. But I'm actually outside. I'm having conversations. I'm organizing with communities. Are y'all doing the same? What are y'all doing to make this stop so we don't have to keep wasting our time? Like, I don't want to be here. None of us want to be here. And I'm sure y'all don't want to be here. So I can at least be respectful about the fact that you guys are taking your time out to try to do the right thing. But I also want to pose a question, like, if we have to do all this effort to hold cops accountable, why are cops in existence? Like, what is the point? I was having a conversation with one of your people outside, and I actually discovered you guys are the reason Daniel Pontaleo got fired. That's actually really commendable, even though he was saying that y'all also acknowledged it took 5 years. When are we going to have community programs that serve the community where it doesn't take years of people fighting and all we get is lawsuits and fired cops? And it was only time in history it happened, but I can at least, be empathetic. But we deserve more. And it's talking to the black people here, like, y'all deserve more. Your families deserve more. I'm sure you're not I'm not going to just assume you're Uncle Tom's or something like that. I'm sure you actually are invested in your communities, minus the people in law enforcement here. Like, if we're invested in our communities, don't our communities deserve more? And this can be a step. But if it's like, how long has this been in existence? Like, CCRB, I probably heard of when I was in college, so it's almost 10 years? Like, what tangible steps can we do that are quicker before more black and brown people die? Like, Luis Monsantos was fighting for his life in a hospital for being shot in the head by 2 cops because they thought he was trying to run away, even though he was reversing. Mikey Rosado is dead. Like, I talk to his mother regularly. Like, you guys are a great step, I guess, in terms, I don't want to say great, but that'll be nice. You guys are a step towards, hey, cops do something, but it's not preventative. It doesn't stop anything. Like, it doesn't, and I respect that. You're my elders, especially the black woman here. I don't want to be disrespectful. But if we had systems that stopped this, 8 years ago, because I used to live in New York, 8 years ago at Port Authority, cops almost actually shot me. And my cousin, her brother had just died. So I was on the phone with her, and I was walking. You know where the buses come out? I know my time ran out, but I'm going to keep talking. I'm loud like that. But where the buses come out, I was walking down just because I was lazy. And cops pulled me over, and they told me, put my hand, I was on the phone with her, and they told me to put my, phone in my pocket, whatever, right? So I was talking to cops, got scared because, a big black guy talking to cops. So my hand was in my pocket, and cops, they were talking to me. There was one cop in front of me and one cop behind me, right? And what happened was that cop, he forgot he had told me to put my phone away, so he just looked down and saw his hand in, my hand in my pocket, and he got scared. Mind you, the guy with the gun got scared. It didn't matter that I was the 18-year-old who had never been in this situation, and they both reached for their guns right here. And if I died, y'all would have been a step, but it would have not been preventative. Thanks for your time, I guess.
Thank you for your comments, and I don't necessarily disagree with you. I think that more people do need to know about the work of the CCRB and the outreach work that we. I couldn't hear. You can't hear me?
I didn't want to be disrespectful and not hear what you were saying.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
I was saying thank you, Mr. Pines, and I don't disagree with you that the more people do need to know about the work of the CCRB, and as a result of additional funding we received from City Council, we were able to create and expand our outreach unit. And so going into communities, having conversations, letting people know about our work is part of the extended work that we're doing right now. We obviously think that there's a whole lot more that we can do, and I wanted to see if John wanted to add anything to that comment.
So this was the first year that we had money from the city council, from the city, to actually spend money on advertising. So to be able, because our outreach unit, while it is very, it is working very hard, and it's small. It's 5 people for the entire city of New York, and that's a lot to expect them to be able to reach enough people for there to be a critical mass. And so we need to have that funding, and it was so useful for us to use that for public education purposes, and hopefully in the budget for next year that will be continued.
I mean, can I respond to that? I think, like, isn't that kind of always the thing, though? Like, we have these people who want to do something, but it's never enough funding. Like, when do we start coming up with, like, new concepts and ideas that, like, make it so we don't need this funding? You know, for example, like Relly and the work he does is not like, it's not like we're all poor. It ain't like we advertise for it. It's like a thing where it's like, you know, we all go out like in protest, connecting, building community and things like that. And also I can be sympathetic for the fact that I don't have family, I don't have kids or anything like that. I can take the time out to do it. But it's also like, as community, if the goal is to be here for communities, when do we start looking at like the things that we've done for years historically aren't working? When do we start having conversations like abolishing police? When do we start having conversations about like being like creating communities where only the community relies on the community? Considering like no black person I know trusts police, so when are we going to start talking about things that like can be solutions as opposed to like preventative? Mm-hmm. You know, like, and sorry.
No, I just want to have, you have an opportunity to respond.
First, it's a blessing that you're here, because now you can leave and you can definitely tell about the CCRB. I suggest that you collaborate with other young people your age, with your ideals. But you have to make a promise to me right now that you won't comment about me commenting on your comment, all right? Because I have to say one thing for the sake of time. It is very important that you understand that there's levels to this, right? And if we were able to do exactly what you suggested immediately, we'd be in a country of anarchy.
We kind of already are.
We are, but we aren't.
Kids are dead. Like, I mean.
Yes, that's true. But when you say not trusting the police, it's really a system that you have to look at that have the police policing people. Okay, so we're making sure that the conduct of the police correct, and then eventually we'll try to look at the system that's incorrect. But you, as a young person, have to galvanize other young people to make sure that happens. You made a comment about older people, and I'm glad it's that you're here. You're a blessing. You have to leave here today and run and tell your community that you have to play a part. Because it's commendable that you're here, but there's so many young people that's around you that's not.
I mean, I think so many people, young people also like...
You made the word that you wouldn't comment on my comment about your comment.
I'm a liar.
For the sake of time. No, okay, bro. Thank you, blessing.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I also wanted to have an opportunity to acknowledge another board member who has joined the conversation. Willie Freeman, I believe, is on virtually. Will.
Commissioner designee.
Thank you. Do you want to introduce yourself and your designation?
Gabe, did you hear me? Okay, my name is Willie Freeman, Police Commissioner Designee.
Thank you, Willie. Appreciate it. Yes, you can proceed.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I just want to make a complaint about Officer John Zarilla. Like about a year ago, I was on the subway. It was like 4 a.m. and I was like doing a transfer, and I saw him at the Broadway Lafayette station, subway station, and him and another officer were like harassing a man who seemed like maybe he was like homeless, like he was just like sleeping on the subway. and they were like harassing him, like pushing him to get out. So I was filming him, and even like the man, it seemed like they had like harassed him before because the man was like, oh, like thank you. Like also do you have like a pen and all this? It was like we were just having a conversation. He was like very casual about the whole thing, which is kind of fucked up. But so after I filmed him, he was like, thank you, and then John Zarilla was like, oh, you can't take the subway now, because I was trying to go back in because this was a transfer. And I was like, it's literally like 4 a.m. Like, I just want to take the subway and go home. I also didn't do anything wrong. I filmed him just doing his job. And then I was like, so I said that, and I may have said like, fuck you once, but I was mostly just like, it's like not safe for me to try to like walk home. I was in Manhattan, I live in Brooklyn. It's already 4 a.m. I was also with someone who's 17. So we're trying to go home, and they were like, no, they were literally like pushing us out of the subway physically, and they pushed us up against a wall. My like whole arm was like bruised. And then they were like, okay, we're going to write you up now. And they gave us both the ticket, and she's 17, like my friend. And he was like saying very rude stuff to us, like just calling us stupid and like, we don't know anything, like all this stuff. And so I wanted to film him naturally. And then he kept taking his cuffs out and walking over to me every time I tried to film him. And yeah, that's it. And then, but I've seen a lot of videos of him online too, wearing this, sorry, excuse my language, this really dumbass shirt that says future billionaire with his gun and everything else. And he's like throwing down this woman in the subway, like physically, clearly physically assaulting her beyond like so excessive. He's also like not even in uniform. He's wearing this really dumb shirt. He's like an absolute clown. And it's like all over the internet. So I'm like confused. Like it's very clear he like abuses his power, and like it's all like you just look up his name, John Zarilla, NYPD. It's like the first video that comes up. I'm like, it looks like it's like pro wrestling. It's so excessive. Yeah.
Your clarifying question. So you filed a complaint with CCRB, or
not yet? I'm gonna file it online tonight so I can upload pictures to it.
Okay.
I have photos of the bruises he gave me. This happened in May 2021 or June 2021.
So if you want to talk to someone today, we have investigators here who can meet with you, or you could choose to go home and upload it from there, and that would also be a way you can file a complaint.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And for my last 30 seconds, I just want to like just have on the record again about Artem. He like literally like pulled his gun out on, I think he was like 19 years old, and he just asked him to put on a mask during a pandemic. Like we didn't have vaccines yet, anything. Kind of ridiculous. It's kind of excessive to pull a gun out on him. In my personal opinion, he could have just put his mask on. So that's all. Just wanted to, where's the camera? Is there a camera that I can have this on? Thank you. Thanks, Sarah.
So yes, either you could stay and speak today, or if you wanted to upload it, but please make your complaint.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Everyone who is here in public, and so Yohira, do you have anyone online?
Yes, Chair. From virtually, Michael Myers would like to speak. Soren, if you could upgrade Michael.
You hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, this is Michael Myers. I'm the president of the New York Civil Rights Coalition. Two short points, because I understand I only have 4 minutes, not 5 minutes, and not the usual 10 which we used to be given. Number one, I think it's past the time that CCRB had a public meeting with the new police commissioner, and so that the public can actually listen to you talking to her, and to her, the police commissioner, talking to you. and the police commissioner hearing the comments from the public. She needs to be in your meeting. You need to invite her formally to the meeting. She cannot be sitting behind her desk, hiding behind Eric Adams. Secondly, with respect to the public comment, I've raised this question before. 4 minutes is not good enough. I don't understand how you went from unlimited number of minutes to 2 minutes, and then you, on my protest, it went back up to 4, although now I understand it could have been 5 minutes. I didn't realize there was a limit on 5 minutes, but you didn't give it 5 minutes, you gave us 4 minutes, as opposed to when we had unlimited minutes. So if there's going to be a rule, you guys have got to follow the rules. In fact, I suggest you make a rule. The CCRB needs to adopt the rule. What is the rule in terms of public speaking? Is it going to be 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, or unlimited number of minutes based on who you like and who you dislike? Now, I understand that chair has authority to rule people out of order. Comments that are not pertaining to your agenda should be ruled out of order. But I do not think it's in order to arbitrarily impose limits on the public comment. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, because you don't want to hear from the public. You're there to hear from the public. That's the public session. So I suggest you follow your legislative history and your legislative rules and adopt a formal motion that the public comment may be limited to whatever you think it is the right time, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. But I don't think it should be less than 5 minutes. And I again suggest you have a meeting, public meeting, not a private meeting, not a behind the curtain meeting with the police commissioner. She needs to hear from us, the public. She needs to hear the comments from the members of the public who have gotten disgusted with the lack of accountability and her lack of performance as police commissioner, and her questioning the legitimacy and the credibility of your own investigations of her department. This is becoming a laughing stock. It's a farce. You people ought to be as upset as we are with the president mayor, Eric Adams, and his police commissioner. You ought to be angry. But I don't hear anything like that. I hear nothing but civility coming from you guys and women. We had enough civility. We've had enough silence. We need action. I'm through.
Thank you, Mr. Myers, for your 2 points, which I heard loudly and clearly. The first around inviting the police commissioner to a public meeting with CCRB. We will definitely take that up in our discussions. And then secondly, your issue about the time that we utilize for the public comment, which I believe John spoke to in his opening comments. But we're more than happy to rediscuss that. If you wanted to restate what you had said earlier, John.
So I was advised by the general counsel that we were allowed to set time limits on people speaking under the open meetings law between 2 and 5 minutes. The reason why the agency originally imposed speaking limits is when we moved our meetings from the mornings to the evenings, and then when we were going into community, we were oftentimes in situations where we were losing the room at a certain amount of time. Like here, at 6 o'clock, the ventilation goes down. There's no more air conditioning. And so in order to get all the people in who sometimes come to speak, especially when we were in community, we set limits on how long people could talk. And I agree with Mr. Myers that it is important for people to be able to contribute. We want to hear from the public, but sometimes what happens is when you're in a situation where you only have a limited amount of time because of the venue and you want everyone to speak, you have to have some kind of limit. And so I will check with the general counsel again and see if it is required to have a vote on the time limit. I was not under the impression that was necessary, but Mr. Myers, I respect you as an attorney, and so we'll look into it.
Thank you.
And we will definitely, as I mentioned, speak more about the idea of the meeting with the police commissioner. Yohaira, is there anyone else who is next on the list?
Chair, that concludes our public session. We also want to thank Assemblymember Heineman's office for attending the meeting, as well as the Brooklyn Borough President's office.
Public comment, not the public session, correct?
Sorry, public comment.
Do we have any old business to come before the board? Any old business? Okay. Do we have any new business to come before the board? Any new business? All right.
And it could be settled through executive session if that's appropriate. I'm saying it intentionally in the public session so that we don't have problems later on. But I would like for us to have a short discussion, very short, about inviting the police commissioner to one of our meetings and deciding to do that, to invite. You can't make somebody come, but to invite.
Thank you. Any other new business? Any other new business? Okay. Hearing none, I am going to move now that we break into executive session. The agenda for executive session is the board will receive an update on rules litigation and discuss the timing of the rulemaking process from general counsel, and the executive director will provide an update on the protest report. Can I have a motion to close the public meeting of the month of June for the CCRB?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so moved. Thank you very much, everyone. We are adjourned.